What's up, Facebook Live? Nice to see you all. Hopefully you're having an amazing morning, evening, afternoon, or day. Today's topic, we're going to talk about what pisses you off, what really ticks you off, frustrates you, irritates you. And then we're going to dig in and figure out why. What's the reason? What's the real reason? Whoa, I got something funky going on. Got my alfalfa thing. Where is it? It's fun. Oh, got it. That's hilarious. Anyways, we're going to dig in and figure out what's the real reason it ruffles your feathers. It frustrates you, and give you a couple things that might help if it happens to happen in the future so that it doesn't have as much control of you. Because inevitably, if something really ticks you off, that means you've allowed it to have control over how you feel. And that's not that great, meaning anytime that thing happens, it can control you. And I don't know about you, but I kind of like having the freedom and ability to choose how I feel throughout the day instead of having something else have the ability to control me. So as you're tuning in, I'd love to know, number one, where you're tuning in from. Number two, I'd love to know 3 things you're grateful for. Go ahead and toss it in the comments section. Rigo, what is up? Good to see you. Sonia, welcome back. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Actually, let me share this in a couple places real quick. Get some more people to come and join us. Link. Let's see. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're talking about things that tick you off, piss you off. Another way to say it is something that has complete and utter control of you. When it happens, it takes control of you emotionally, and you become someone who's out of control in that moment, and something else has control of you. So inevitably, it's pretty smart to figure out what are the things that you allow to control you like this. And then number 2, to figure out how to take back control so you're not constantly living in reaction in having other people or other things have that much power over you. So let's see. Rigo says, ugh, people making an appointment or a promise and then at the last minute canceling or have some excuse of not completing. Ooh. In that case, you might want to check out yesterday's topic, which was why are people flaky? You know, it's something interesting. I've got like an awesome alfalfa thing going on with a little hair up here. I don't know what it's up to. Let's see. No, that's not helping. It's going to do its thing. Anyways, as you're tuning in, love to know, number 1, where you're tuning in from. Number 2, love to know 3 things you're grateful for. If you wouldn't mind, throw it right over there in the comments section. Jay, watch this. Hopefully he enjoys it. If you know someone who is constantly frustrated, pissed off, ticked off, angry, that emotion is their kind of fuel they go to, that go-to emotion, please tag them in this and or share it with them because this will be very useful for them. It'll also be useful for you if you know someone who's like that because it's going to give you the ability to comprehend what's going on and the ability to help them get control back in their own emotions in life. This will be a quick episode because I got yoga coming up and I need to get ready to go. Let's see. Sonia says, I can't deal with lies. I can't trust the person anymore. Interesting. Chris, what's up? Nice to see you. And for those of you just tuning in, love to know, number 1, where you're tuning in from. Number 2, love to know 3 things you're grateful for. Feel free to toss it in the comment section. First big question today is, what are the top 3 things that royally tick you off? I mean, it gets under your skin. It pisses you off. It's so frustrating when it happens. You think, ugh, why? Why do people do stuff like this? When that version of yourself comes to life, what are the things that really truly are the spark or the little spark that brings that kind of energy into your life? What are they? Let's see. Tomas grateful for Mississauga, Canada. Grateful for capitalism, love, and family. Very fun. Are you laughing at my alfalfa hair? I think so in that comment. So I'd love to know, what are the top 3 things that royally tick you off, piss you off, frustrate you? Another thing, this might be a different type of emotion that's similar. What are things that make you feel down or kind of you lose faith in that moment? You lose the ability to really believe anymore. It doesn't necessarily piss you off, but it kind of disheartens you is another way to say it. It lets the air out of your sails. It takes the wind out of your sails. Chelsea says, hypocritical, I know, but it pisses me off when people are just so negative all the damn time. Yeah, those people piss me off too. Damn negative people. Fair enough. What other things tick you off, piss you off? Now, the reason I'm asking is I want you to really dig deep and figure out what are the actual triggers. What are the triggers that really get under your skin? Let's see. When people are negative, talk down to you or your idea, they just kill it. Okay. Here you go. And so what are these things that really get under your skin? What are the things that really piss you off, really tick you off? Inconsiderate people. Interesting. Okay. Oh, Rigo agrees. What else? What really gets under your skin? If you had to think about it, what really gets you? Like when you see it happening, it just, people knowingly try to rip you off. Interesting. So they knowingly try to take more than what they should be in that case. Okay. What else really gets you, really frustrates you? Let's see. I don't like when people think they know it all and aren't open to other points of view. Okay. And so what's interesting is let's figure out now why when idiot drivers speed and are unsafe. Okay. Now let's figure out why. Why do these things piss you off? And I could, guess, but I'm going to allude to something here and see if we can discover it together. Why do these specific types of things piss you off? Why? Now, if I were to throw something out to think about, would it be fair to say that the reason this thing frustrates you, pisses you off, upsets you, disturbs you, disheartens you, is because somewhere in your nervous system, there's a rule that says they're not supposed to do that. Is that fair to say? Meaning somewhere in your nervous system or brain or body exists, that's not supposed to happen. Sonia says, because they go against my values. Exactly. You value certain things and it's going against it. It's violating your values. Another thing to say is it's violating your values. It might be violating your rules, or it might be breaking or violating an expectation you had. Doesn't like go along with my values. Tomas, here it is. Sure, we have our own set of expectations. That's right. So anytime someone is upset, you want to remember this. Anytime a human being's upset, it's because there's an unmet expectation. An unmet expectation, meaning we expect it to go this way, and then it turns out this way. And we go, oh. Now, depending on how important that value is or how important that expectation is, determines how much of a reaction we give it. Now, I'm using specific language here because it's how much of a reaction we choose to give it, how much of a reaction we give to it. We are in charge of the reaction, even though it doesn't feel that way sometimes, because something happens and all the triggers happen in a millisecond, and then instantly we're going, shouldn't have done that. And all that happened was we had an unmet expectation that cascades into an emotional reaction. So if you want to look at this as far as the habits are concerned, the trigger sets off a cascade of events and there's a reward. Now, this one's interesting. How is anger a reward? How is being pissed off a reward? How is being frustrated a reward? This is where we got to dig deep. And it's interesting because as we talk to different people, you start to realize that anger, frustration, is a way for them to get something back. Now, let's use the crazy driver for example. You're driving down the road, and let's say all of a sudden you value something called safety or being in control in that moment. And all of a sudden you see someone violating that value, driving radically safe and making the road out of control. They're just swerving, driving fast. And you go, oh, what an idiot. Why are they doing that? Now, what's interesting in that moment, think of what just happens in your body. There's a cascade of chemicals released, dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline fire off. You turn into the super Hulk version of yourself, and all of a sudden you feel back in control. And really, your body lacked control for 30 seconds. You freaked out because this is a high-value situation. Important lives are on the line. You value lives. You value your kids. You value your family. You want to keep them alive. High-value situation. Therefore, it's very important up here and in here in your rule book. And all of a sudden, someone violates your expectation, and kapow, you meet it with level 10 of response of anger. Now, what's interesting, we'd have to ask the question, is that the most useful way that you can respond? Is it the most effective way you could respond? Or, Chelsea says, here's another reason why. So there's another reason. Why would someone go angry? Because sometimes if you're angry with the other person, they give you what you want and then you win. So trigger. Someone doesn't give you what they want. Routine. Get really angry and pissed off and yell and scream and pout and go ballistic. Reward. You get what you want. It works. That's another pattern. It's another reason why someone would go through this pattern. The trigger is not getting what you want. What's your routine when you don't get what you want? What's your routine when your expectations aren't met? Some people get angry. Some people get sad. Some people get frustrated. Some people get even. Some people shrug it off and move on. Everyone's got a different pattern. So this is an interesting process. When you don't get what you want in life, what's your pattern? What's your routine? What do you go to? Some people go in and learn more and study and practice to prepare for the next time. Some people throw a hissy fit and tear down the building and scream at everyone because they didn't get what they wanted. What's your way of handling when you don't get what you want? I was watching a TV show. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I thought it was interesting. It was people buying their first private jet. And I was like, well, this should be interesting. And it's this, this group from a company was trying to negotiate on the price of a jet. And they're going back and forth. And they go, we'll offer, let's say it was worth up for sale for 10 million. They say, well, we'll offer 4 million. And the guy goes, we can't take 4 million for this. We'll lose $2 million in the deal. Like, there's no way we could do that. The guy comes back and goes, well, we're not paying a penny over 5. And he goes, sir, listen, love to sell you the jet. We can't do it. We need at least 8 for this deal to even be an option. And all of a sudden, the guy who's trying to buy it goes ballistic. He grabs something off the table. He hucks it into the wall. He throws something. He pushes a chair. And he goes, what are you guys trying to do here? Rip me off? You know as well as I do, you could do better than this. This is insane. What a bunch of crap. And throws the table at the chair and then storms out the door. And his partner goes, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We'll go grab lunch and then we'll be back in a bit. And they come back after this guy throws a huge fit and he goes, okay, sir, well, I guess, we'll take a little bit of a loss with you. We'll do it for 6. And I'm thinking, what in the world did they give into that? And it's exactly what Chelsea's saying here. Sometimes the reason people use this pissed off, angry emotion is to try to get what they want. Now, that training might have come when they were young. They didn't get what they wanted, so they threw a hissy fit, and their parents said, fine, 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 and just gave it to them. And they figured out, hey, that's a way to get what I want in life. And sometimes you have 65-year-old children who use this again and again and again, even at 65, 75, 85 years old. And they still use this effective strategy to get what they want. Question, though, going back, if it's because your expectations are not met, the question becomes, are there more effective states? So what are other opportune states you could go into? You could be angry, frustrated, depressed, hopeless. There's all kinds of stuff. Or you could be excited, passionate, determined, hopeful, creative, resourceful. There's a million different states you could go into. And so big question, what would be the best replacement for the next time something royally starts to piss you off? You can go, whoa, I don't need to do this game. I don't need to do the pissed off thing. Let me choose a more useful emotion and let's handle it with this. And ideally, let's handle it in a way that it never has to happen again. And all of a sudden, you can clear this up once and for all. You don't have to go through something called a crazy 8. Crazy 8 is it's not working out the way you want. You start to get upset and sad and you're falling down. And then all of a sudden, you get so down that you just feel like you're out of control and helpless. And you get pissed off and angry. And you start to climb up the side. Gosh darn it, this is so ridiculous. And you feel really in control. And people start doing what you want. And you get total control. And then after a while, it doesn't work so well. And then it starts to slide down the other side. And well, I'm kind of tired of being angry. I'm looking for something else. And eventually you get sad and depressed and go, well, man, I'm out of control again. So and climb up back the other side and come back down. I don't know if any of you have ever done this pattern in life. They call it a crazy 8, where you just keep looping back and forth through anger and sadness and depression and anger. And all it is someone who's stuck in a pattern. And the only way to get out of it is you got to elevate. You got to choose a more effective emotion to bring to life in this process. Glenn says, neutral and redirect. So neutralize what's going on and then redirect to a more useful emotion. Sonia says, understand it and try to understand the person's side. So sometimes empathy is helpful. Why would someone do something like this is probably not the right question. It's, I wonder what's going on in their world that caused them to do something like this. It's a great one. I remember I was pulling out of a parking lot one time here in San Diego, and it's a one-way alley that goes, let's say, this way. And as I'm trying to pull into the parking lot, a lady pulls out and tries to go out the wrong way, directly head to head with my car. And so she looks at me and says, move. And I looked at her, I'm like, ma'am, it's a one-way street. She goes, I don't care, move. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wait until she figures it out because it's not safe to go this way. Anyways, she leans out of her car and she says, gosh darn it, I said, move your car. I'm trying to get out of here. And I'm like, if a cop showed up right now, like, she's in trouble, not me. I'm doing the right thing. I'm trying to get in the one way it's supposed to go. So I'm just sitting here. And eventually she slowly starts to squeeze her car really tightly between me and a pole that's right here. She squeezes through and she gets window to window with me. She leans out and goes, with both fingers up, screw you. And then she drives away. She peels out and goes, peels into the street and tours off. And all of a sudden, anger started to flood my body. I was like, and thoughts. I should take a picture of her license plate and call the cops and say there's a drunk lady on the road who's being crazy. You should arrest her. And all this stuff comes up, and it's so silly. It's just reactions to an uncomfortable moment. And when I thought about it, I took a deep breath and I used what Sonia's saying here, which I said, wait a minute. Empathy. I wonder what's going on in her world today that would cause that kind of reaction. I'm not saying it's okay. I would never endorse it. I'm certainly not going to enforce it or reinforce it or help her stay there. But I wonder what's going on in her world that could cause that kind of reaction. I don't know. Maybe her daughter's having a baby right now and she has to get to the hospital. Maybe her husband just had a heart attack and she's trying to go save his life. Maybe, and I can come up with a handful of reasons that all of a sudden anger completely floods out of my body. And with curiosity, which is a more useful emotion, all of a sudden I get curious, I connect with it, and now I can creatively solve it or help mitigate what's going on and get to some type of useful solution. Another thought that goes around it, there's another phrase that comes from A Course in Miracles that says every piece of communication is either an act of love or a cry for help. And so I was like, wow, that was certainly not love. Therefore, where does she need help? There's pain somewhere that exists in her world. Maybe I could help heal it or just recognize that it's there and just go, oh, empathy. I get it. She's going through some stuff. That's interesting. So none of this makes it right or justifies it. It just allows you to not have to get yanked around by someone else's way of life. Because what sucks is if I would have let her take over my state of being, then the next 30 minutes, day, 2 days, 3 days, I could have been pissed off and angry and frustrated and hurt and sad and scared and all these things all at once the whole time. And she just literally hijacked my entire brain and body for that whole period of time because I was out of control in that moment. And so here's my challenge to you is how can you find a more creative emotion, more useful or tactful emotion to approach these types of situations with? Meaning, I want you to identify what are the 3 things that set you off the quickest, that really tick you off. And I want you to come up with, for each one, come up with 3 possible creative solution type emotions that you can use instead of anger, frustration, hopelessness, depression, or any of those types of emotions. Come up with some creative replacements. So if, knock on wood, it doesn't, but if and when something happens that normally pisses you off, instead choose to insert one of these other emotions: empathy, curiosity, creativity, passion, determination, something else that's more useful, and then use it as your fuel to go and do what you want to do, instead of having something hijack your brain and body for a while and you get caught up in just playing the reaction game. So that's my challenge to you. I got to get ready for yoga. Hopefully this was useful. If you find this useful, please click the share button, help more people check this out. I will see you all tomorrow, and have a great Friday.